Welcome back, folks, to RGR as well as Locked On Chiefs, and I got something special for you. We're going to do a 2-in-1 here today because Regan Creswell was available, and anytime that we can talk to him, we try to do that. If you don't know Regan yet, he is our film analyst at Chiefs Digest, at Locked On. We've been working on things for quite a while, Regan. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
You know, I'm keeping it together. It's cold, and I'm ready for a Patriots game, so I'm pretty excited about it. This is one of those games that when we looked at the schedule in June, we went through game by game. And this is the one that I said, I'm going to pick them to be close right now. And I have to say, I'm a little surprised that I feel like the Chiefs are in a position to win this game, maybe more so than I did in the preseason. There's a lot of things that hinge on it. For me, it's still about Brady and how he can do what he does versus Patrick and the offense. So from your perspective, for me, the number one goal is you got to contain, and I mean bracket, like stop Julian Edelman. Is that a sound plan, or am I overlooking something?
Oh, no, that's the best plan. That's the only guy that Brady looks to in the passing game. He tries to get it to some of those young guys, but they can't separate. And so he's losing his arm strength a little bit. I guess we can say that Brady's declining a little bit. I don't know if that's taboo or not. But he sucks. He's finally reached the start of the end, and he's starting to decline. And so he wants to go to someone that he knows and trusts. And right now that's Julian Edelman. It does kind of look like they're still trying to run the offense like they have Gronk, but they don't have a Gronk style player. And so Edelman kind of fills in that role for him.
Mm-hmm. Now, not only in the quick game, but in that between the seams type passes, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So if that's going to be the catalyst where if the Chiefs can control that, or control it, you're never going to stop the guy. He is quick. He's one of the most athletic in terms of short area quickness that I've ever measured in the athletic matrix. And Tyrann Mathieu is too. So I feel like they have a fairly good matchup there. If they can slow down Edelman, keep them from killing him like they did last time they met, where do they go from there? What's the secondary target in the pass game?
The secondary target's kind of tough. They've been trying to get Jacoby Myers involved a little bit. It's not going so hot. And so N'Keal Harry's probably their next option. He's more of a possession body control type receiver. He's not going to run away from you, though. And Philip Dorsett's the guy that would run away from you, but he just doesn't see the field as much as he probably should in that offense.
Yeah, and he has been explosive. A lot of fantasy guys have been reaching out to me saying, don't overlook him. And that's fair, but don't know when he's going to show, don't know when he's going to be there. So for me, the secondary target has to be James White. And with the Chiefs linebackers being a little bit suspect in pass coverage, I'm interested to see how you feel that they should try to contain him.
That's a really tough one. I think the best thing is if you're going to bracket Edelman, you're going to have to play James White one-on-one. And I would stay in nickel most of the time. And I would put your extra corner on him. So put Kendall Fuller or someone like that on him, and just have that guy run man for man with him, and hope for the best.
Right, keep your fingers crossed. Now they don't have Devlin, so you can take a look at the run game for the Patriots, but it's not what it used to be. But when you look at the Chiefs' defense, having it been the weakness this entire season, how do you feel about whether you feel the Patriots will choose to attack it, or should they?
I think they're definitely going to try to get the run game going this game in particular, just because the Chiefs have had a hard time stopping it. Biggest problem with that is that their offensive line, they don't create a lot of movement at the line. And so Sony Michel doesn't have a lot of place to go. And I feel like the Chiefs defensive line can actually manhandle these guys a little bit. And so that really gives Sony Michel and James White and those other guys no place to go. So they might try to hit outside the tackle box a little bit and get on the edge and see if that helps them any.
It's funny. The offensive lines of these two teams remind me of each other. And I know that you look at this in depth. And folks, if you don't know, Regan is deep into the scouting academy. He is going to be a professional scout, and that's why he helps us out to see things that I can't see. One of them is interior O-line play, and I'm huge. I was big on Thuney coming out. I still feel he's one of their best linemen. He's been struggling a little bit with pressure lately. Is he somebody that you think that they should attack?
Thuney's the left guard, right?
Right.
Okay, I just wrote down positions. I didn't really get into names. Yeah, he's someone that I think if you put Chris Jones over him, Chris Jones can bull rush him into the backfield all game long, and there's nothing the Patriots can do to stop it. I think they can take advantage of that. Their center hasn't practiced yet this week, and the Texans didn't really get after their backup center. So I'm kind of curious to see if he can handle, put a Derek Nottie or Colin Saunders on him and see how he handles that. I have noticed that both of their tackles, they struggle with speed rushers off the edge, particularly if you can get up the field and dip and rip under them. They don't know how to counter that, and so you can get under them and get to Tom Brady pretty quick, and then Tom Brady will just lay down because he doesn't want to get hit.
Sure. At his age,
you can also, yeah. And then with Isaiah Wynn, you can mix in a spin move off of that speed rush, because he'll start trying to work deeper and deeper to combat that speed rush, which will open up the spin back inside, put you right on level with Tom Brady.
That's something
you can also
up a lot in college as well, so I can see that happening pretty quickly.
Yeah, I also feel like you can work your speed rush and then convert that to a bull rush at the top, and he gets a little off balance if he doesn't get his feet set. So I think you can take advantage of him there. I do think with both of the tackles, if you stretch your DNs out a little bit wider, maybe not quite a wide 9, but just a little bit wider than what they normally play, that definitely gives them a better angle to take advantage of those tackles too.
Yeah, I mean, because Wynn's a pretty young guy. He hasn't had that much experience, but I thought he was pretty good at getting depth in college. I haven't seen as much of that this year. And I know that Cannon struggles getting depth in his kick. So is that really something for Tano Passanio, or would you rather see Alex Okafor out there opposite Frank Clark if Clark plays?
I think I would go Tano, but it wouldn't help to give him just a different look every once in a while. And I would even send a DB off the edge just to get that extra speed in there.
I like that concept, especially if you have somebody like Mathieu that's a good pass rusher sitting there in the nickel trying to man up on Edelman. It's an easy disguise right there to try to send that.
Yeah, definitely.
Deeper into what the Chiefs need to do in their secondary. A lot of injuries back there. Fuller looks like he's coming back. Doesn't look like Fenton's going to practice, so that's a little bit tough. And Mo Claiborne's out. So do you try to just give somebody a spot, let the nickel be Fuller, let him, like you said, try to track White, and leave Breland and Ward out there on their islands on each respective side?
I think that's probably the best option for now. I kind of think with Claiborne's shoulder, I think he's going to give it a go. I don't know about Fenton. Sounds like the guy that they brought up kind of has a similar skill set to Fenton, so maybe that's his replacement if he can't go this week. But yeah, you're kind of limited at what you can do, short of making Mathieu play corner a little bit, have him in the slot. That's probably your only other option to go to.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get down to the fun part, because I know you got plenty of notes on this. The offensive side of the ball for the Chiefs. How to exploit that secondary, where to start. Like, if you're running this 15-play script, where are you starting?
I think I'm getting Hardman involved as much as possible. I think that they're going to have a combination of, what's his name? Stephon Gilmore. They'll put him on Tyreek Hill. I think for some of it, I think they might mix in J.C. Jackson because he has the speed element to keep up with Ty Hill. But I think that for the most part, you're going to see Hill and Gilmore go at it, and I think Hill can win that pretty regularly. So they'll give Gilmore a safety over the top. So if they're taking their free safety and putting him over the top of Hill, you can use speed on the other side of the field and just run them to death. If the Chiefs turn this into a track meet, they've got it won.
Yeah, and that's got to be their plan, right? Because that's exactly what the Patriots did last time. In fact, there's a clip. I should probably put it on the beginning of this video. Maybe I'll go back and do that. Where Pat Mahomes was complaining to Anthony Lynn, the Pro Bowl, about how they bracketed and took away Hill because they just had a guy over the top and they had some speed with him.
I need a safety to stop double teaming Tyreek. Look, I'm back in the Patriots game.
So here's my question to you. Do you try to use them in a double set on one side of the ball, or do you split them out on either side?
I think I would split them out on either side, and then maybe maybe try to get Sammy Watkins going again this game. He's been kind of a ghost the last few weeks. So, I mean, what better time to show up than a big game like this?
Right. Okay, so pass rush. Chiefs got themselves in some trouble. They've been giving up a lot of pressure, or at least enough to move Mahomes off of his spot, quite frankly. And like you said, sometimes a little bit early without that being warranted. Any notes on the defensive line from the Patriots and how they might match up with this Chiefs O-line?
You know, I really don't feel like the Patriots defensive line is all that good. They're not generating a lot of pressure. They're not getting a lot of movement up front. The way they get movement is they slant to the strength, particularly on rundowns, not so much during passing downs, but they'll get their defensive line moving, which gives them penetration into the backfield. But I don't feel like this is your typical Patriots defensive line where they've got one guy that, you know, is pretty dominant. They've got a bunch of guys that are pretty average at what they do. And so they're going to run the twist and the stunts and stuff like that. And they're going to use Dante Hightower to kind of like like a wrecking ball. And he's just going to run into somebody to free up the looping defensive tackle or defensive end around him.
It's almost like the opposite of a chip, right? I mean, he's going to knock somebody off their block.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And he's a guy he's one that I watch every time that they play. He snuck an interception from Mahomes last time. He has a good ability for a guy that's pretty good size to get low and almost hide behind that defensive line. I think really in the run game, I think they have to target at him. I'd love to see the fullback involved, but I know that's not going to happen. I think with this particular O-line, you're going to see the smaller backs, LeSean, and I think Thompson's going to get some go, maybe Ware. Do you think that they still have to hit the edges, or how can they try to attack Hightower to try to bring down his energy level, wear him out a little bit?
You know, I think the best way to attack them is to run off tackle. But to do that, you're going to have to use one of your receivers to pin in that defensive end or outside linebacker, whoever's lined up on the edge, because that edge setter is really good at kicking everything back in where they've got all their big bodies to stop the run. So you've got to pin that guy in to get the edge. So I think that's probably where the Chiefs need to look to attack. You might be able to try the tap pass or jet sweeps or something like that just to get something quick on the edge. Maybe take advantage of them that way.
Yeah, I like there's a quick pitch last week. I thought that was something that could be effective, and the tap pass I hadn't thought of. It's another one where you have momentum going that you can accelerate to that edge faster than the defense can. If you're going to have to try to pin the end, are you lining up Blake Bell out there? Are you trying to let Sammy do it? D-Rob? I mean, who are you trying to use?
Probably one of your bigger guys, so probably a Bell or a Watkins. But I think you got to mix it up because Bill Belichick's smart and he's going to figure it out. He's going to throw something different at you. If you try to pin that in, he's going to send a corner off the edge or something. So you got to mix up what you're doing so that they can't get a read for when you're trying to run the ball outside.
Yeah. So I know you've done all your homework. What's your feeling? Do you feel that this is evenly matched, or how do you see this game going?
It depends on the kind of game that Mahomes plays. If he's on his game and he's hitting people in stride, I don't think the Patriots can keep up with the Chiefs. I don't think they have the offensive firepower. I think Brady's I think he drove off a cliff and he's beginning his descent pretty quickly. And I think that it kind of shows that they're missing another weapon besides Edelman, and they just haven't figured out who that is yet. Hopefully this isn't the week that they do that. But if the Chiefs play their game, they should be able to win this one.
Okay. Well, I have that happening too. I think it's going to be pretty high scoring, to tell you the truth. Get them on their horse and see if they can race. So, folks, if you're not checking out everything Regan does over at ChiefsDigest.com, that's where his write-ups are. You're doing football wrong. So make sure you check that out. It's the Raygun84 on Twitter. Follow him there. You can get some great tidbits. I appreciate the time. I know you're real busy. I thank you for doing all the work. And folks, thanks for joining us. I'll be back with you next time. Enjoy the game. We'll talk to you post-game with the live.